It's Bad Boy Radio, Soul 106.3, Chicago's R&B. And because of the passing of the godfather of house, Frankie Knuckles, we are talking to some of the legendary house DJs in the city of Chicago. And I got my man Wayne Williams, who you guys know from Chosen Few. You know him from house music, producing, signing R. Kelly, doing a little bit of everything. But house, of course, is his love in the city of Chicago. And Wayne, thank you so much for taking time out and being part of the show today, brother.
Yeah, this is a very, very tough day, to say the least. Very tough day.
So when you got the news, yesterday, was it like with everyone else? You're thinking it's a bad April Fool's joke, or because you and Frankie are tight? How does the news come to someone like yourself who is in a position where you're literally like brothers with these people?
Well, I actually got the news from someone who I'm going to remain anonymous, but is also a legendary DJ himself. So I was pretty sure of it, even though they weren't. He was also not, wasn't 100%. But I had just talking to Frankie. I've been speaking to Frankie the last couple of months, and he had been, pretty sick. So it wasn't, as surprising to me, because I'd known he had been under the weather quite a bit the last couple of months.
So to us, it's a bit of a surprise, but talk about his health. Talk about what he was going through, because I look at my DJ slate. I'm like, oh, Frankie's, going to be at, downtown next Wednesday, at the museum. He's going to be, overseas doing this. Tell us, what exactly was going on with him health-wise.
Well, he had diabetes, and he had caught a real bad flu. And I think that, so he was just trying to get better. He was fighting that for the last couple months, and so he was under the weather. And I was actually surprised when I learned that he actually went to the Winter Music Conference and actually DJ'd a party, and then went to London and DJ'd a party there too at the Ministry of Sound. And I think, obviously, I think that may have been a little too much for him, and it's just fortunate that I was able to speak with him. And when you speak with Frankie Knuckles, he doesn't leave the phone without saying, or telling you that he loves you, and then you tell him back that you love him, Right. And that's how you leave the phone with Frankie Knuckles. That's the kind of person that he was,
So I know it's still early, and the Chosen Few DJs, you guys plan things a year in advance at least. What are the plans for a dedication with Frankie in mind this summer?
Well, obviously, I think that goes without saying. I think I actually just canceled something else that we had on the agenda, preparing that I know we're going to do, something like that. I think that, but honestly, right now, it's hard for me to even think about that.
Right.
I'm more concerned with, him and his family, and whatever his family and his people need to take care of him. I think that that's kind of where my mindset is right now. All the Chosen Few were very close with Frankie. And, Alan King, Mike Dunn, Terry Hunter, Jesse Saunders, Andre Hatchett, Tony Hatchett. We were all very close with him. So, it was, it's just, just making sure my guys, a couple of them are taking it very hard, so it's just a tough time, man.
Yeah. Everybody talks about, how this guy is like a teddy bear, just a real lovable person. Talk about the beginning of you guys' relationship, Wayne Williams and Frankie Knuckles.
Well, I met him at the warehouse in 1977, and I must say the first 3 or 4, I knew he came from New York, and he was a known and a great DJ in New York already, and so I honestly, I was a little intimidated even going up, saying anything to him. It must have took maybe my 5th or 6th time going down to the warehouse to finally to get up and, the nerve to say something to him, and ask him about the records he was playing, but once I did, I mean, he was so like warm and accommodating and letting me know where he got his records from and what store I could get them, and and from that point on we were close. I mean, this is the 37th year of me knowing Frankie Knuckles, and from the moment I met him, he was always that warm, kind, non-judgmental guy, and that's just who Frankie Knuckles was.
So where do we go from here, Wayne? We lost, two of the biggest idols, kind of the cornerstones, if you will. When people talk about, house music and old school house and the legendary DJs, they talk about Ronnie and they talk about Frankie. Now we've lost them both. Where do we go now?
Yeah, I mean, quite honestly, I met Ron Hardy maybe 2 years before I met Frankie, and so you're right. They were both amazing DJs, amazing talents, and without a doubt, cornerstones. I think. Wow, where do we go now? I think I've always supported house music, and that's kind of like embedded in us. That's embedded in Chicago. If one thing Chicagoans can take from this is the fact that Frankie Knuckles, helped change the culture of an entire city, and if you go in the hood of anywhere in Chicago, I don't care what side of town, you will hear, people playing house music.
Yes.
And I think that's always been embedded in us, even if the radio doesn't support it. Obviously when they do, and it's a bonus. But quite honestly, the city, that's kind of our roots, and I think that all the DJs that took to it, obviously, Frankie and Ronnie were a big part of making that happen. And I think that when the city is born with starting a music, just like New York was known to start hip hop, Chicago was known to start house music. I think that's just a hell of a statement, man, for a city to embrace a different music form and to support it. And I think that obviously where house music has gone, from to techno, EDM, or whatever, the bottom line is everyone knows the roots. And where it was born is Chicago, Illinois. You best believe that Frankie Knuckles was a tremendous and big part of that.
Indeed. Wayne Williams, we know it's been rough for you these past 12, 14 hours, this last day, but we appreciate you getting through everything that you're going through personally, dealing with all of the things and people that you have to deal with in your daily life, to talk to us here at Soul 106.3. Thank you, brother. And we will continue to support not only house music, but house DJs. And we'll keep this thing alive for Frankie, for Ronnie, and for everybody else we've lost over the years.
That's so great to hear, Mike. That's so important. And I just hope, that all radio does that. You've always been a big supporter, Mike, and I think that with people like you and everyone else in Chicago who supports the scene and stay positive, and the great thing about house music is it's truly about love, and that's what Frankie Knuckles was about, kindness and love. And as long as you had that attitude going forward, can't help but survive.